Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the channel. So the topic of this video is going to be last minute checks. At this point, we are going to be entering the journey phase. So this is pretty much the time from when you are sitting in a hotel or at a friend's house, wherever you're just getting ready to grab your luggage, go to the airport, and begin your trip here to the Philippines. This is going to be a little bit shorter section just because there's not a whole lot to cover. A lot of it's common sense, especially if you travel quite often. But there's still some very important things that we need to talk about. And just as a quick reminder, I don't use scripts or anything on my videos, but I do have some notes on my phone so I can keep everything on topic and keep the video flowing pretty easily. So some of the first things that we're going to be thinking about, obviously you want to make sure that you have your airline tickets, including your one-way ticket to the Philippines as well as your throwaway ticket. You want to make sure that you have those on you and you have copies of those as well. Just in case something happens, you'll have that copy stashed somewhere just to make sure you're good to go. One of the other things you want to make sure is obviously things like your passport, your ID cards, anything like that that you need to have, keep them on your person at all times. Don't have your passport inside of a luggage pocket. Even if it's your carry-on bags, don't put your passport in that stuff, because at any time, if something gets grabbed, snatched, lost, set down, or whatever, you're going to have that passport, because that's going to be your most critical document that you have. Make sure you keep that on you at all times. Another thing is going to be just confirming your arrival lodging. Before you travel out, just get a hold of your arrival lodging. Doesn't matter if it's a hotel, a condo, Airbnb, whatever it is. Just get a hold of them and just say, hey, I'm going to be there in like a day or so. Just want to make sure everything's good to go. Make sure that everything is arranged and set up for you to move in. The place has been cleaned, linen, stocked, whatever, just to make sure that it's good to go. A lot of these places, you might have somewhere that there's somebody in that room literally the day before you arrive, or even the day that you show up. You just want to make sure that they're going to have time to have that person leave, clean the place up, and prep it for you to go in. So just make sure you've got all that figured out. Another thing you really want to do is have directions from the airport to whatever your destination is going to be. So whatever this hotel, condo, Airbnb, get directions from Google Maps or something like that, printed out from the hotel there. So if you do have to take some kind of transportation, a Grab or something, you've easily got reference of how to get there. So even if you end up having to take one of the standard metered taxis, you've got that route right in front of you. You can make sure that they're not going to try and zip you around some alternate ways, try and rip you off. And it's also just a good way to show that, I've got this lodging here, this is its address, this is going to be the easiest way to get there. The other thing you need to be thinking about is if you have already set up contacts, and this is something I highly recommend, is somebody that you trust here in the Philippines that will be able to meet you at the airport when you arrive. There's a few reasons for this. I've already talked about them. One of the things is to make sure that you already have somebody you trust that already has a vehicle. The vehicle is going to fit your luggage, it's comfortable, and they're going to be able to bring you to wherever you go. You're not going to get scammed or ripped off or anything like that. But one of the other things is, if this person is going to be meeting you at the airport, do you have real-time contact capability with that person? If something's going on with your flights, either your flight's going to arrive early, your flight's going to arrive late, you're able to communicate with them in real time through text messages, messenger, emails, whatever it might be, to let them know, hey, I'm going to be arriving at the airport an hour early, or my flight's being delayed, I'm going to be there 3 hours later. That way they know what's going on, and obviously if they arrive at the airport and an hour goes by, you haven't shown up, they're probably going to bail. So make sure you're able to contact them. The other thing is, this person is going to be meeting you at the airport. A really good option is, instead of having to hustle around and try and deal with money exchanges at airports and getting really bad fares, different rates, send this person some money through MoneyGram, Western Union, something like that, so they can pick up the money, have Philippine pesos in their hand, in their pocket, whatever, so that when you arrive and they come and pick you up, they can give you that bunch of money there. You don't have to worry about trying to go and spending your US or whatever your currency is. Just, it's a lot smarter to have those pesos in hand. And having this person that you trust that's able to, bring you that envelope of money, it's just going to make your life a whole lot easier. Trust me, I know from experience, it definitely helps. The other thing is you need to make sure that all of your luggage is properly packed. So we've already done video on how to pack your luggage and all that, but this is just making sure last minute. So for example, passport, itinerary, those are on your person at all times. They are not kept in any of your baggage. Your wallet. You're going to be going through airports and some of these places, you're going to have pickpockets. Even in the US or Germany, Canada, wherever you go, a lot of these airports, you're going to have pickpockets. My personal recommendation is if you have a wallet, keep the wallet in your front pocket, not your back pocket. It's just almost impossible for somebody to be able to pickpocket you and take it out of your front pocket. But in your back pocket is just too easy. And when you are talking about having your identity, all of your stuff, and you're in the middle of a move, you don't want to lose all of that. You don't want to have your wallet stolen or anything like that. So keep that stuff in your front pocket. If you're going to be wearing any kind of a jacket or anything like that, don't keep your documents in jacket pockets, because you take that jacket off, you set it down, somebody grabs the jacket or you lose it, whatever. You're not going to lose your documents. It's going to be in your pockets. Another thing is make sure that all your medications are in your carry-on bags, not your check-in bags, because if they're in your check bags, you're going to have some serious problems when those bags are starting to go through customs. Just have them in there in your carry-on. And make sure you have all of the paperwork that you need for those prescriptions to make sure that you can prove that, yes, those are your prescriptions, they are valid, and they understand what they are and that they're legal medications. One of the other things is with your carry-on bags, it's going to start raining here, hopefully it doesn't interrupt the video, but with your carry-on bags, if you're going to have any kind of a shaving kit, toothbrush, anything like that, make sure that they are the travel size so that they abide by international airport security regulations. And if you have larger size containers of stuff like shaving cream, toothpaste, mouthwash, any kind of liquids or gels, anything aerosols, make sure that those larger items are kept in your check-in baggage. And I would recommend that you seal them in a plastic bag just in case so they don't leak. The other thing is, if you're going to be bringing any kind of a laptop or tablet and you're going to be carrying that in some type of a laptop bag, make sure that it is fully charged and that its bag has all of your charging cables and other stuff. So your mice and whatever, make sure it's in that bag so you're able to use it. Also your cell phone, make sure that your cell phone is fully charged and that you have your cell phone charging cable, a USB cable. Make sure that you have that in a pocket or in your carry-on bag. And also make sure you have a headset. If you're on an airplane and you're trying to use your phone or anything like that, you're going to have a headset on or they won't let you use it. The other thing is making sure that you are dressed appropriately. Wherever you're at, it's probably not going to be as hot and humid as here in the Philippines. So there's a chance you might be leaving somewhere where it's cold and it's snowing and you're going to be wanting a nice jacket on. But realize that midway through that flight, temperatures are going to change, and then when you arrive here, it's going to get really hot and humid, so you're going to want to strip off a lot of that hot stuff. You're going to be in an airplane. You're going to be sitting around a lot of other people, so dress appropriately. I would say bring some kind of a lightweight jacket, something that's lightweight, comfortable, but preferably water-resistant, waterproof, something that's going to be breathable so that if it's colder temperatures, you can throw that jacket on, stay a little bit warmer, but because it's lightweight, it's easy to smush into one of your carry-on bags or carry it around your waist. It's something that you can still have available for any situation. You might arrive here and it might be raining, so it'll be good to have that jacket thrown on. Another thing is your shoes. Don't try to wear dress shoes. Don't wear any kind of open-toe shoes. If you're trying to wear sandals, flip-flops, or something like that, that's just a no-go. Closed-toed, normal shoes. Don't wear dress shoes. Wear something that's going to be comfortable. Something like athletic tennis shoes. The other thing you got to realize is as you're going through different airports and you're having to go through different types of security points, you know, at the airports, they might have you taking your shoes off. So if you have some old shoes that are Velcro or they're not too easy to slip on and off, that's a bonus. Personally, I was wearing my combat jump boots, and these were a little bit more comfortable because they're more stable for my ankles, but at the same time, they have a zipper on the side. So to take those boots on and off, it's just zip it, pull it off, and when you go through your security, it's nobody else is going to be using these big ass combat boots, so you immediately can tell, okay, those are my shoes, and then you put them back on, you just zip them right back up, easy, good to go. The other thing is, with your luggage, all of your bags, check-in bag, carry-on bag, everything that you have, make sure that every single bag that you have has some kind of a printout that's inside the bag to identify you, who the bag belongs to. You want to have your full contact information. Obviously, we're talking about contact information of your destination. So make sure that whatever hotel, condo, Airbnb, whatever that place is, you've got all that information with phone numbers, addresses, etc. inside of your baggage. So if something happens and one of your bags gets lost, redirected, something like that, they can open your luggage up and boom, right there is a nice big paper with good, easy to read font that's got all your contact information and where you're going to be staying so that they can get that lost baggage to you. Otherwise, it can be very difficult to track down where you're at. You might just get some random email 3 months later saying that one of your bags is at the airport. So as long as you've got your contact info, it's a lot easier. Also, if your luggage, your check-in bags, if it's going to be locked, I would definitely recommend that if you're going to put a lock on there, make sure it's one of those TSA certified locks. That way the TSA has a master keys. They can unlock it if they need to go through it and lock it back up. If it's not, if your bag is locked and customs needs to go through your bag, they will simply cut that lock off and toss it. So when you get to your destination, if your lock's been cut off, you don't know. Was it cut off by security? Was it cut off by some baggage handler at one of these random airports? You don't know. You don't know if somebody's gone through and taken stuff out. So if it's got one of those TSA approved locks, if they need to go into your baggage, they can go in, open it, secure it back up again. There's just less risk of you having problems. Also, any locks you do have, make sure you have extra keys, spare keys for it. There's a time where when I was going through the airport, I gave my checked-in bag, I had locks on it. They actually came out and asked me if I have a key for my bag so that customs could go through my stuff. They went through it, secured it, and I got my key back. But you never know. If they're really busy or something like that, they might end up losing that key somewhere in between the way. It sounds stupid, but it does happen. Part of that also is be prepared for all the different airport security stops. You're going to have different security checkpoints who are going to sniff you for explosive compound residues. They're going to look through x-rays. They're going to check you for all this and that. So dress appropriately. If you're going to have like a lot of big clothes with a belt, remember you're going to have to take any of those metal crap off. So my personal suggestion is if you've got some athletic clothes, a pair of sweats, jogging pants, and a comfortable loose-fitting t-shirt, wear that on a flight. This isn't the 50s. You don't have to dress in fancy clothes to go on an aircraft anymore. Don't slum it out wearing spandex and some nasty stuff with stains on it, but if you've got a nice looking set of athletic clothing that fits comfortably, that doesn't have a lot of buttons and snaps, metal crap, doesn't have to use a belt, something that you can wear comfortably for 20-30 hours straight, it's not going to get super sweaty or binding or anything like that. That's your best option. But just be prepared to dress and just understand you're going to be going through a lot of security checkpoints, taking your shoes on and off. They're going to be looking through your stuff. If you've got hats or belts and all that, they're going to be taking all that off. Stuff in your pockets. Don't bring anything in your pockets. It's not necessary. You don't need your house keys. You don't have a house anymore. So, I mean, if you've got keys to this and that random crap, you shouldn't have to be carrying car keys, house keys, and all that. The only keys you should have in your pocket are the keys to your luggage. And that's it. The only other thing you really should be keeping in your pockets Obviously, passport, your itineraries, and any paperwork. You're going to have your wallet that's got your money, your IDs, and all that. You're going to have your cell phone with you. But really, other than that, there isn't a whole lot else that you should have in your pockets. You don't need to have a bunch of chapsticks and this and that. Don't worry about it. Just keep it down to a minimum so that you're able to breeze through the security checkpoints a lot quicker and easier. And finally, the last thing is, don't try to bring drinks or snacks in your bags. Some airlines, some airports, they might say, okay, you're allowed to have a certain item in there if it's below a certain size, or if it's in a sealed bag, if it's a certain category. But a lot of times when you're going through, especially certain countries, they're going to basically tell you any kind of a food item that you have goes in the trash. You're not allowed to bring it on the aircraft. In my opinion, a lot of that is the airlines themselves are wanting to make more money off of you having to buy their food and snacks on the flight. So they don't want you to bring stuff on board. So if you're going to have anything like that, really make sure that it's going to be allowed. Like, for example, if you've got a bag of beef jerky, great. Make sure they're going to allow it. Typical, normal, like big size bag of Jack's Link's beef jerky back in the US was probably around $10 at a convenience store. You go, you buy it, it's 10 bucks. All right, no big deal. It's nice to have a snack on if you're sitting in an airport terminal for a few hours. It might be something nice to snack on while you're on the flight. But if one of these security checkpoints or something like that, customs, if they decide they're going to snatch it, they're not going to allow it on there, you just lost a $10 bag of snacks that they're going to probably be enjoying when their shift is over. So think about that. Don't be spending a whole lot of money on stuff. Buy your snacks while you're sitting in an airport terminal if you have a longer layover. If not, just wait till you get on the aircraft. We'll be talking a bit more about that in the next video when we're talking about the journey itself. But really, that's what you're just wanting to do, is make sure that you've got everything down. Make sure that you get a hold of everybody back home. Tell them, hey, I'm going to the airport now, getting ready to have my flight. I'll call you when I land. You know, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. You know, just make sure you've got everything in order. Do what you need to do. So that covers it. Thanks.